If I was New York City Mayor Eric Adams, I would be running for the hills. Donald Trump is now in power, and you best believe he's going to be wielding his sword. New York City Mayor's girlfriend, Eric Adams' girlfriend, Tracy Collins, retires from the Department of Education amid Department of Investigation inquiry into a no-show job claim. No-show job claim means you had a kind of job where you never show up for your job, but you collect a hefty check for doing nothing. Now, you must understand that a lot of people are under the impression that because of who her boyfriend is, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, that she was able to access a position like this. And if it is, this could be deemed as swindling money out of the government through the education department. By the way, Donald Trump already said if he wins, he's going to do away with the Department of Education. So this is going to be interesting to see. The story, though, says that the New York Mayor, Tracy Collins, who is the Eric Adams' longtime girlfriend, she retired last week from her high-ranking position in the New York City public school system. A departure that comes as the system's internal watchdogs and the Department of Investigation are probing claims that her job amounted to a no-show gig with a six-figure salary. Damn. Her last day of work was November 1st, with her retirement from the Department of Education becoming effective this past Monday. I think the decision to retire is generally a personal one, somebody said on Friday without giving a specific reason for her exit. She's 61 years old, but she did not just get into the Department of Education overnight. She is 61. She has worked in the city public school system for decades. Not one decade, for decades. And was among its highest paid employees. Her team did not return any requests for comments. Her departure comes after the Department of Investigation recently started probing complaints that were filed in September by an ex-Department of Education employee who was alleging that Collins has rarely ever shown up in person to her job and keeps a light schedule mostly made up of virtual appointments. So she hardly ever shows up. Collins, who is the girlfriend of Eric Adams, has had a no-show job, alleges the complaint that was obtained by news media houses. Now, he himself is already in trouble. A lot of people around him have already resigned or are under heavy investigation, has had their homes raided, has had their personal laptops and cell phones taken away. This is getting serious, and he could end up doing some jail time. The source said that the DOI, the Department of Investigation, hadn't launched an official investigation into Collins as of last week, describing the inquiry as being in its early stages and akin to a fact-finding mission. That's where we're at right now. Once we put it together, we might be going after her. The Department of Education Special Commissioner of Investigation, the agency's in-house independent watchdog, received the same complaint as the DOI about Collins. We are looking into these allegations, but we cannot comment on the specifics of the investigation at this time, is what the SCI spokesperson said so far. Now, records that were obtained by news media says that the first reported by Chalkbeat last month shows that Collins had just about 40 scheduled meetings and events in the 8-month stretch that she was elevated to her senior advisor role at the Department of Education in July of 2022. That left roughly 75% of her daily schedule entries over that period entirely empty. Some of the professional engagement that was reflected in the records during that stretch were after hours. including a private screening of a documentary about Chicago's first black mayor that Collins attended with Adams at Battery Park City School on January 9th of 2023. Now, earlier this week, Tyler decided or declined to comment on how the investigation is going, if they are actually really investigating Collins, and what's going on with her schedule, the information that has been brought up so far. But he praised her as a longtime educator. He said that Ms. Collins has been in the educational sphere for over 30 years. Her duties include strategic planning, making recommendations on agency priorities, and providing advice and support to senior leadership. She is referenced in Adams' recent federal bribery, fraud, and conspiracy indictment, to which he has pled not guilty. According to the feds, Collins, who hasn't been charged with any wrongdoing so far, actually benefits from tens of thousands of dollars in free luxury travel to countries including India, Ghana, Hungary, that Eric Adams had solicited as bribes for himself, her and other associates from Turkish government operatives in exchange for political favors. Now, this does not put her at a wrongdoing, because this is her man taking her on trips, right? And he is high ranking. He's the mayor of New York. So she might not have known the intricacies of how these things come about. However, it looks bad for her in the position that she's in. And she is currently under some level of investigation, which they call the fact-finding stages of the investigation. Now, if they do their fact-finding and they find out that she is complicit in anything as far as bribery goes, as far as collecting money from certain sources, then she too will be indicted. The complaint from the ex-DOE Department of Education employee, they won't reveal who that person is, alleges that Collins failed to disclose those travel perks as gifts in her annual city government ethics forms. It's unclear if the DOI, Department of Investigation, and the DOE, Department of Education, Special Commissioner's Office are looking into that component of the complaint. Listen, at this point in the game, I would actually tell her to run for the hills. Ex-Chancellor David Banks, a close friend of Eric Adams, tapped Collins, a former principal, who is the girlfriend of the mayor. He tapped her, who is a former principal who had been Adams' partner for over a decade, to put her in a senior advisor role at the Department of Education in 2022. That salary starts at $221,000 a year. At first, Collins was senior advisor to the Deputy Chancellor of School Leadership, but she switched over this August on the 28th to become senior advisor instead to Deputy Chancellor of Family and Community Engagement, Melissa Aviles Ramos. Less than a month later, Adams named Aviles Ramos as the city's new school chancellor on September 25th, after Banks announced that he was resigning in the wake of getting his own home raided by the feds in connection with a corruption investigation looking into influence peddling and kickbacks on the city's contracts. This is one of the persons who they took his laptop, they took his cell phones, they seized all his devices. Most recently, Collins served as a senior advisor to Aviles Ramos in her old capacity, which she still retained on top of her new chancellor duties, as her previous position remains unfilled. So really, she was working two jobs. Now, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, he defends his woman promotion at a recent press briefing saying that it was in line with her experience. Nobody gave her anything that she did not deserve. It was in line with her experience. Being the significant other of the mayor should not stop your track. She has her own pathway from what she did in schools, turning around schools, Adams said last month. And so she earned her right, and she earned what she has done. Earlier this year, Collins got a $31,977 raise, part of a 12.5% salary bump, impacting hundreds of senior city government employees, pushing her total base pay to $252,977 per year, and making her the 27th highest paid administrator or central staffer at the Department of Education, which has about 150,000 employees, according to the New York analysis of payroll data. Now, I mean, she's not number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's not even number 15. She's not even the 20th highest paid. She's at number 27, almost the 30th. But that is a hefty salary, $252,977 per year for a job that they say you leave 75% of your schedule cleared and you barely come to work. The Department of Education employees earning more than Collins or major department heads, district superintendents, deputy chancellors, and the chancellor, the news analysis has found. The ex-Department of Education employee who actually filed this complaint with the Department of Education and the Special Commissioner's Office also submitted it with the City Conflicts of Interest Board. The Conflicts of Interest Board has declined to comment so far. However, it looks like they have their scopes set on Collins, which is the mayor's girlfriend and has been his woman for over a decade. So not only are they taking down or trying to take down Mayor Eric Adams, they're also going after his significant other. And like I said before, if I was her, I would get my affairs in order. I would put all my money in all the right places. Right now, they don't have anything holding her from her bank accounts are not frozen. Her assets are not being looked at as they're about to take them away. She doesn't know that because that could be happening behind the scenes. I would line myself up for success in case failure happens, because if Eric Adams goes down, you best believe that they're coming for her. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.